Good evening, everybody. I'm Fictional Crystals, and we have a lot of stuff to cover. Guys, we got a bunch of new information about Season 7. That includes the first episode and a trailer. There was recently a Voltron panel at San Diego Comic-Con. That's where they showed the first episode of the season and answered some questions. The first episode is called A Little Adventure. I'll give you a basic rundown of what happened in it. The Paladins aren't sure if Shiro's consciousness will survive being transferred from the Black Lion to the clone's body. Keith, Crowley, and Allura stick around to see if he's going to be okay. The Lions don't have enough power to make it into the upper atmosphere because they don't have the castle to charge them. So Coran and the others go after a Yelmore, which can help recharge the lions quicker. The Yelmore acts like a skunk. They find the animal and it miniaturizes all of them. They end up smaller than blades of grass, which we can also see in the Season 7 trailer. The rest of the episode for these guys is basically just them trying to make themselves big again. Romelle was my #1 favorite character from 80s Voltron. I was worried I wouldn't like her personality in Legendary Defender, but I really did enjoy her in this episode. This episode gave us a glimpse of her less serious side. She keeps saying the word Quiznak wrong, and her banter with Hunk is hilarious. Lance didn't flirt with her once, which he would've in Seasons 1 or 2. It shows how he's changed. In the end, they do all of course become big again. Meanwhile, while the others are finding Yelmores, there's flashbacks to the Galaxy Garrison. We get to see the flashback shots from Season 6 Episode 5 in full depth. Shiro comes to Keith's school to recruit kids for the Galaxy Garrison. The kids are tested by flying a simulator. There's a callback to Keith flying through the asteroids and taking flight. Keith steals Shiro's car, but he recruits him anyway. He sees that Keith has potential, he just needs someone to guide him. They have a really sweet racing moment. Shiro does the move Keith did in Episode 1. We will be getting more insight into Keith, Shiro, and their relationship this season. They have such a strong relationship, and I enjoyed what we saw of their past in the first episode. The more we learn about Shiro's relationship with a new character who I will talk about shortly, the more we'll learn about Shiro and Keith's relationship. He must have looked up to them and their relationship a lot back then. When he was this young, loving relationships weren't something he was used to. It was hard for him after his dad died. It's nice that there were people there for him back then. We might be seeing some interactions between Keith and Shiro's other this season. Even after joining the Galaxy Garrison, Keith was still disobedient. He's meant to be flying information with the other students, but he breaks it, which gets the other students in trouble. We see young Garrison, Hunk, and Lance in the flashback. This kid looks like this guy from Episode 1. After Keith gets everyone in trouble, the kid who went to Keith's school even before the Galaxy Garrison confronts him, he makes a jab at Keith's parents, causing Keith to beat him up. Keith's dad was a firefighter, and it's now been confirmed that he did die in a fire. He ran back into a burning building, presumably to save people. Keith and his parents are all heroes. Then we get the same scene we saw in Season 6. The kid Keith fought with is called James. Grown-up James will be appearing again in Season 7. He was seen in a trailer from SDCC. It seems like James was Keith's rival at the Garrison, not Lance. Lance made up their rivalry. In earlier seasons, Keith and Lance just lightly bickered and playfully teased each other. It was harmless, and they both could get over the teasing when the situation called for it. Whereas James made fun of Keith's missing and dead parents, and they got into a physical fight. Keith and Lance's small competitions and banter are very different from this. Nevertheless, Keith and James will be talking on Earth. Keith's attitude now is different from what it was back then. Hopefully James is too. James shouldn't have made those comments to Keith, and Keith shouldn't have punched him. They both did wrong, and they hopefully both matured. We find out that Shiro has a disease, making the Garrison say he's not fit for the Kerberos mission. At the point of this flashback, Shiro thought he had only a few healthy years left. Despite that, he still wanted to go on the Kerberos mission. Sam Holt convinced the Garrison to let Shiro go on the Kerberos mission. While Sam, Shiro, and the Garrison are talking about the Kerberos mission and Shiro's disease, Keith is eavesdropping and confronts Shiro about it later on. Turns out going on the Kerberos mission actually saved Shiro's life. The Galra saved Shiro's life. By cloning him, they in fact got rid of his muscle issue.
I made you strong, and this is how you repay me!
Shiro's consciousness ends up surviving the transfer to the clone body, so Shiro's made it through death multiple times. The place the Lions landed at the end of Season 6 is in the Deltarium Belt, which is where the original Green Paladin Trigal is from. Okay, now there's a part of the episode I didn't talk about, and that is Adam, Shiro's confirmed significant other, Shiro's ex-boyfriend. According to Laurent Montgomery, the show's co-executive producer, They were in a long-term relationship and on their way to marriage. Adam would have happily grown old with Shiro. Adam didn't want his partner to go on the Kerberos mission. He was worried about Shiro. Adam calls him by his first name, Takashi. He knows how dangerous the mission is. Kerberos is so far away, and Adam knows about Shiro's disease. He was scared about how the mission would affect Shiro's health. Shiro's life would be at stake. Shiro's gone on many missions in the past. He's broken many records and won many awards because of them. Yet through all of those missions, Shiro's been walking on the edge thanks to his disease. Adam doesn't think he can take it anymore. This wasn't the first time Shiro had done something like this. He had already been drifting away. It caused the two of them to split ways. Even though they broke up before Shiro went on the mission, Adam must have been gutted to find out the mission failed. As a higher-up at the Garrison, he might have found out that Shiro briefly returned to Earth in episode 1. And if he didn't find out that Shiro is alive back then, Sam must have told him after returning to Earth. Guys, I am so happy about Shiro and Adam. You have no idea how excited I was when I found out the news. We now have a confirmed LGBT main character. We have sort of got canon LGBT rep in Voltron before this though, kind of. It was very brief and not everyone saw it, but Blates flirted with a male Galra servant. But having a main character like Shiro be gay is just so good. I used to headcanon Shiro as not straight and imagined he had a significant other back on Earth, except I didn't have enough evidence to support that other than this drawing Lord Montgomery drew. Oh, and this. So I never thought of it as a theory. I did not expect my headcanon to become canon. I do wish they had more hints to gay Shiro in the past. Or at the very least, a name drop of Adam earlier on. They didn't have to say he was in a relationship with Shiro, just his name would have been good. Regardless of that, in the end, I'm just so happy they did this. This is so important to so many people. If you zoom in into the background of Adam and Shiro's scene, there's a blurry photo of Shiro and Adam together. There are all the awards Shiro's won too. Really, thinking about it, we should have known Shiro was gay. He led a pride of rainbow lions. Adam was concerned about Shiro's life. Now that Shiro's disease is gone and he's returning to Earth, I'm sure the two will have a confrontation. Going to space turned out to be the best option for Shiro. Getting cloned saved him. That's got to be good news for Adam. His muscle issue is gone. Well, he's still missing an arm. Adam said he wouldn't wait for Shiro, but what if he saw Shiro now anyway? I truly hope they're able to go further with this relationship. They made sure to show us Shiro and Adam in episode 1 of season 7. Logically, they established their relationship so that the two of them can have a reunion later on. They also made a point of Shiro and Adam's relationship in the trailer, and one of the meanings of Adam's name relates to Earth, and now they're going to Earth. So people have been spreading a rumor that we'll only see Adam in flashbacks. That has not been confirmed, guys. In fact, the way they talk about Shiro and Adam's relationship makes it seem like a big thing, along with Shiro's illness. And they've been teasing at LGBT content in Voltron since 2016. There have been so many occasions of this. The stuff I just showed on screen isn't even all of it. Treating the LGBT rep as a massive spoiler just for this one scene doesn't make sense. According to this Twitter user, Jeremy Shada, Lance's voice actor, once said in response to a question about LGBT rep on Voltron that he couldn't say because it spoiled future plotlines. I hardly think one small confirmed LGBT scene counts as a plotline, making me think that there will be more LGBT related stuff. Netflix is a platform that allows them to explore LGBT topics. Plenty of people on Voltron worked on a show with significant canon LGBT rep before. Now that it's 2018, LGBT rep in children's shows is much more accepted. For instance, there's been a gay wedding and an actual coming out scene, so I think they will go further with the LGBT on Voltron than just these two short scenes. It'd be a little disappointing if they didn't. I'm perfectly fine with angst. In fact, I adore angst. I love emotional moments and darkness in shows. However, I like the bad to lead to some good. Characters that struggle and go through angst for a satisfying payoff. I can understand if Shiro and Adam don't get back together. That's okay. I just hope there's a satisfying payoff to the LGBT rep and Shiro's arc in season 7. Overall though, I'm still thankful that a main character got confirmed gay. Okay, I should move on to the trailer we got. First we get the Paladins at the same place they were at the end of season 6. Lance is relieved they finally get to go home. The trailer suggests Shiro is thinking about Adam. It's possible Adam and these 4 Galaxy Garrison cadets will have a Paladin-like dynamic. Adam in the place of Shiro Shiro, James in the place of Keith, and these three in the places of these three. There are 2 other teams of 5 on Voltron that parallel the Season 1 Paladins. Allura says it'll be a difficult journey. They don't have the Castle of Lions, so they don't have an easy way to wormhole. If this is where they were at the end of Season 6, then something probably landed there, which is what they're going to look at. Several have worried expressions about it. There's smoke in the background. It could either be from them, or it's some debris of what crashed. If something didn't land there though, then something's weird on that planet. Maybe something that can power up the lions quicker than the animal Coran was planning on getting. If something did land there, I'll get back to what it might be later on. Otherwise, this is Earth. The sky and ground don't exactly match up with where they were at the end of Season 6. See the difference in color. On the right is where they were at the end of Season 6. The colors on the left match up with colors on Earth. In the case of this being Earth, they're looking over destruction the Galra caused. The smoke's likely also coming from destruction or debris. They're seeing stuff the Galra and the Galaxy Garrison have done. Look closely at the silhouettes. Those are shaped like buildings. And the other trailer from San Diego Comic-Con and one of the Season 7 stills have a destroyed city. Considering these things, there's a better chance this is Earth than anything else. The Paladins leave the place they were in the Deltarian Belt. Due to his condition, Shiro can't pilot right now. He needs to rest and he's missing an arm. The others take turns with him and their lions. Keith had Shiro in the Black Lion in Season 6, and at one point in the trailer, we see Shiro in the Green Lion. At some point, I feel like he will end up in the Red Lion, or at least simply get the chance to talk to Lance somewhere. They need to discuss what happened in the previous seasons. I believe Josh Keaton, Shiro's voice actor, mentioned something about this too. Lance feels guilty about not being able to help Shiro sooner. He blames himself. Shiro tried reaching out to Lance in the astral plane before. Coran, the Shiro clone, was yelling at Lance. It's been confirmed that since the real Shiro's consciousness has been transferred to the clone's body, Shiro has Coran's memories. He knows what's happened. Not only from Coran's perspective either. For several seasons, he's been seeing through the Black Lion's eyes. He's got to talk to Lance about the way Coran treated him, and tell him that he is a valid member of the team, since Lance will likely be having more doubts about his role on the team. Especially now that there is the too many Paladins not enough lions problem again. This picture Lauren drew in 2016 is likely also hinting at something. Allura confronted Pidge about her gender in Season 1. Hunk and Keith talked about Keith's race in Season 2. Shiro is confirmed LGBT and will be talking to Lance about romance. Since Lance has been having trouble with that, Shiro can talk to Lance about his relationship with Adam, helping Lance to work out his feelings and decide what he needs to do. Maybe Lance will help with Shiro and Adam's relationship too. There is potential for an LGBT-related arc. Hunk and Romelle are in a cave. It sounds like some time has passed since their fight with Flotor. Everyone thinks they're dead, meaning the universe is losing hope, and the Galra are gaining hope. The Coalition doesn't respond in Episode 1. They make it seem like the signal they have isn't strong enough from where they are, and that definitely might be true. They do have other signal issues in that episode. Still, what if something happened to the Coalition now that Sendak's in charge, and Onerva's on the loose? Since they're going to Earth, logically Matt should be coming, except we don't see him in the trailer. It's been stated that the Paladins don't know where he is. If it's been a while since the Paladins fight with Flotor, and Sendak and the Galra are gaining more and more control, maybe they captured the rebels. He could have been taken to Earth as a hostage to use against the Paladins, along with the other Paladins, friends, family, and significant other in Shiro's case. If he's not being captured and taken to Earth by the Galra, the Paladins will probably find him before they go to Earth. They are definitely going to find Matt at some point. He might still be fighting with the rebels, trying to keep down the Galra's forces in the universe while the Paladins are away, and freeing innocent people. Aksh has said nobody has seen the Paladins since their fight with Flotor. The universe thinks they're dead. That news must have spread to Matt. After Matt was declared dead on the Kerberos mission, Pidge didn't believe it. She still searched for him. Matt won't believe his sister died during their fight with Flotor either. Imagine if he's searching for her like she did for him. Jeremy Shada said this in response to a question about Lance and Matt. There will be some bickering. The team and others, including animals, will be stuck together for a while. I think his response was more about everyone in general, rather than it only being Lance and Matt that bicker. But Matt still will be returning. There needs to be more team bonding this season. After being gone for 2 years, Keith needs to reconnect with everyone. In the end, the bickering will turn into better relationships between all of them. The Paladins can't form Voltron if they're not good friends. We don't know where the cave they're in is. It's probably the same cave from other parts of the trailer. There's a fire in front of them. It's another potential for what's causing the smoke in the background of the scene. A thing that could have landed there is the generals. The generals don't have many places to go. Practically all of the Galra Empire wants them dead. Lotor is gone, for now, and they betrayed Onerva, and it's Aksh's voice we hear speaking to the Paladins in the trailer.
No one has seen you since your fight with Lotor.
In the other trailer from SDCC, the generals are visible, except except they look totally different. These aren't classic Golra uniforms, suggesting that A, they switched sides again, or B, it's an alternate reality. Aksha's hair is longer, and one of Zethrid's eyes is blind. If this is before they're on good terms with the Paladins, that's probably who they're fighting here. Kimberly Brooks, Allura's voice actress, spoiled that the Paladins will be asleep for a really long time. If there's a big time skip, then that explains the general's new looks. The Golra have new weapons, more powerful than they had before.
I've never seen the Golra use weapons like these before.
That's either because Sendak's the new emperor. He's much more ruthless when it comes to quintessence mining. Golra ships run on quintessence. Theoretically, the more quintessence Sendak gets, the more powerful the weapons would be. Or he's hammering the Golra to make better weapons. He's not underestimating the Paladins this time, or the new weapons could have been caused by something more sinister. The potent quintessence Randvague found is much more powerful than your average quintessence. This kind of quintessence comes straight from Altan's life forces. The potent quintessence had drastic effects on the superweapon. Maybe having Altan quintessence in it will affect its future actions too. And the ship Crowley found the quintessence in was destroyed, along with its surroundings. What caused this destruction? Was it a battle? Did everything just get destroyed during a fight? Was there a big alien or thing like the White Lion or Rift creatures? Or an Altan or something affected by the quintessence? When Crowley and Keith left the space, they also left the superweapon. Both Commander Trug and Commander Ladnog were unable to get the superweapon. It's just chilling there waiting for someone to find it. That someone could have been Sendak. He found the superweapon and Altan quintessence. The quintessence is so potent. It would absolutely make Golra ships much more powerful. If Sendak didn't find Altan quintessence through the superweapon, you can guarantee Onerva will find Altan quintessence. She was spying on Team Voltron through Coran when Romelle, Keith, and Crowley returned from the colony. Thanks to Coran, she knows about the Altan colony, and all the potent quintessence she can get from there. I'm pretty much certain that Onerva will end up going to the colony at some point. Maybe she goes there before the Paladins even know it, and takes more quintessence for the Golra. The Golra ships can latch onto others now. Lotor and his general ships could always do this though. The appearance of the ship that uses the grapple-like weapon in the trailer doesn't have the color scheme of normal Golra fighters. Its color scheme is the same as Lotor and his general ships. If the Paladins don't meet with the generals in the ways I've already stated, this could be another fight between them. They will be on good speaking terms eventually, except it will probably take some fights before they get there. Imagine if Lotor's back already and this is him. How about an alternate reality Lotor? On the other hand, since Sendak is in charge, and knowing him he definitely made stronger weapons, like this one we see on Earth, he could have simply changed some designs of Golra ships. The Golra sentries designs have changed before. There's a vortex. Golra fighters are shooting at the Yellow Lion. They follow the lion. It's a lot brighter in the other trailer. I presume Yellow and the other lions got sucked in there. In the trailer we see Lance and Keith. Their lines are shaking and they're looking for cover. If we zoom into the background of Lance's lion, we can see green, the green of this vortex. Maybe they're looking for cover from the Golra fighters. The Paladins are fighting people in a cave. Either the same cave they were in earlier on or a different one. Keith's up against somebody I don't recall having seen before. He's reminiscent of a bounty hunter and also a druid. Could just be a cave dweller that wants to kill the Paladins though. Or someone related to Keith's wolf who has the same ability. We see that Keith's wolf can also teleport other people. Hunk's running from an explosion in the cave with his Bayard. This is a parallel to season 1. Allura uses her alchemy in the cave. Could be because they got trapped in there, or because of the bad aliens that are trying to get them. There is certainly a kind of fight going on as they all have their Bayards activated. She's surrounded by the other Paladins along with Coran, Romelle, and Crowley. Except one of the Paladins is missing. I can figure out who all the Paladins there are except for this one. I know it's definitely Keith or Shiro though. If it's Keith, then Shiro's gone. If it's Shiro, then Keith's gone. The Space Wolf isn't there either. Since both Keith and the Space Wolf are together fighting against this guy in another part of the trailer, and they're in a cave in that scene, Keith is most likely the Paladin that's missing from here, and this is Shiro. There's this really freaky giant alien. The Paladins are outside of their lines and are being eaten by it. They're trying to fly away from it. The lines are out of power. But I believe they do find a way to get the lines working. Obviously, Allura's alchemy is an option. Maybe the mysterious goddess has a hand in powering them up again, like she did in the original. I'll talk more about that later on. But what if they charged the lines using the castle itself? It turned into a crystal. If I am remembering correctly, in some older versions of Voltron, Voltron was powered by a crystal. I can't 100% confirm if that is true or not because I need to go through all of the older episodes first. In Voltron Force, I know there was a Nexus, but I'm pretty sure in other Voltron versions there was a crystal. And in the trailer from SDCC, the castle's crystal is being used as a power core. Crystals have been used as power sources in Legendary Defender trailer before. There's this bright light in the trailer. The Paladins end up outside of the Lions. From appearance alone, it looks similar to the Rift stuff. Pure energy, a gateway to another reality. It's coming from an energy ball reminiscent of something from 80s Voltron. Perhaps the sight is what causes the Paladins to go to sleep. Could this be around the time of the sleeping episode? At several points in the trailer, the Paladins are outside of their Lions in space. These are from the same episode as this energy ball. Since the Lions aren't working properly, they have to find out a way to sort out the issue without the Lions. The trailer suggests the Lions ended up like this because of the energy field. In the trailer, they also say the Lions don't have enough power to form Voltron. I don't think this scene from when the Lions aren't working is from the same time as when they say they don't have enough power to form Voltron. Because when Pidge says that, if you look closely at the background, the scenery is moving, the lines are also shaking. Whereas in this shot, the lines are only slowly drifting. When Pidge says they don't have enough power to form Voltron, it's probably just because the lines weren't charged up enough. And I've already discussed how they can charge them up again. Allura's alchemy, the castle's crystal, heck, even the goddess of the universe. Another thing this could possibly be is a shortcut to Earth. A sort of wormhole. I feel like the Paladins would need some kind of shortcut to Earth. The lines are fast and Black can teleport.
You just unlocked the Black Lion's ability to teleport.
But are they fast enough to get there before Earth's in real danger? Could the sleeping episode have to do with them going to Earth? Speaking of Earth, Sendak and the Golra are attacking it before the Paladins even get there. He's hitting them where he knows they're vulnerable. Sam and Colleen Holt send out a distress call to the Paladins. It looks like they're in the Galaxy Garrison, and the garrison is on lockdown. The Paladins definitely need to speed up their journey in order to save Earth. Lance is near the garrison, and he's being shot at by the Golra. One of the garrison's vehicles is tossed over. He's shielding a girl. She has black pants like Romelle, but Romelle's clothes are baggier and a lot more flowy. Romelle also wears more blue and pink than that. Another option for who she is Allura. The clothes this lady is wearing are similar to Allura's spacesuit, except Allura's spacesuit doesn't have that much black, though it is possible Allura and Romelle changed their outfits on Earth. This could simply be a bystander, such as a lady from the garrison. Maybe she was the one inside of the flipped over car. Lastly, we get a shot of Sendak and the Golra arriving on Earth. With Floater gone, he's now leading the Golra. He has many factions of the Golra on his side. He could have even gotten factions of the Empire who were on Voltron's side previously to join him. Many Golra helped out Voltron because of Lotor. Since Lotor is dead, or so they think he is, these factions of the Empire that were following him might have switched to Sendak. Here's a shot of the Paladins' Bayards and their helmets. There's a pink Bayard now. They made a new one. Keith's helmet went missing in Season 6. They also got a new one of that. Allura never had a pink Bayard to match her uniform before. She simply used the blue Bayard. They might have needed an extra Bayard to fight with. Since Shiro doesn't have one of his arms for a portion of the season, he needs something to fight with. Or could the pink Bayard mean the Paladins are more flexible with who flies what lion? They switch around more often, so all 6 of them need Bayards at all times. Or this might have just been a mere coloring error of another Bayard. Now as for episode stills, we have a few from the first episode. I won't bother going over those since the first episode's already premiered. This one is the Red Lion on what appears to be Earth being attacked by some Golra. To me, the background with the destroyed buildings is reminiscent of Destroyed Earth and Destroyed Altair from original versions of Voltron. There's a massive Golra weapon behind the Red Lion and the buildings. In the other trailer, it's being fired. Again, they're on Earth, and Voltron is dual-wielding swords, suggesting both Lance and Keith activated their Bayards. Their Bayards can both form swords. Here's Voltron forming a sword. Keith's going to get to see Lance activate his sword Bayard form. The two will get interactions this season. Lance acted strange when Keith left the team and returned to the team. They've got some catching up to do. In this still, they're likely flying through Earth. This is the same scene as what we saw in the trailer. You have the smoke in the background and them looking over something worrying. Here's a better shot of Hunk in the cave we saw in the trailer. Look at the difference in shape of his blaster. This Bayard form is more rectangular, this is more circular. Having the Paladins outside of their lines and looking at a bright light fits in with parts of the trailer we saw. The parts with energy coming at them and them outside of their lines. All of them except Shiro are there. This reminds me of the goddess of the universe from 80s Voltron. Voltron Legendary Defender is a reboot of an 80s show called Voltron Defender of the Universe. Voltron Defender of the Universe is a censored, edited, and dubbed over version of 2 animes, Armored Fleet Director 15 and Beast King GoLion. In the original, the goddess of the universe had energy powers, and the goddess was the one that split Voltron up into 5 lions. The trailer makes it seem like the energy splits up Voltron, and this still is almost an exact mirror of an 80s goddess scene. Is it a coincidence, or could they be connected? The energy ball alone looks a lot like something from one of the episodes with the goddess and GoLion. The goddess and GoLion also had the ability to give Voltron power. If the Paladins don't get power from the castle's crystal, the goddess could potentially give it to them. If they do decide to introduce the goddess into Legendary Defender, it seems like she'll have some kind of connection to the ancient Altans/Life Givers and the Rift.
Lion goddess?
The one the ancients spoke of.
The ancients thought that lightning was shot from the bows of the gods.
The other trailer from SDCC shows us that this white energy place changes color. It turns purple and red. Purple appeared with the Goddess of the Universe in the original. There's this new Netflix Voltron poster. This is a shot from Season 7. Netflix has used unreleased pictures from seasons for promos before the seasons came out before. The lions are on Earth. There's lights behind them. The crowd is filled with humans and aliens. This is a more urban area of Earth, you can tell by the background. If we zoom in really close, there are several people on stage. One's at a podium. There are a few explanations for this. Those are the Paladins. They're giving the Earth one of their coalition talks, saying why the war with the Galra started, how they became Paladins, and why the Galra are now on Earth. 2. This is after the Earth fight with the Galra. Aliens that were captured by the Galra, or helped with the fight, are now taking refuge on Earth. The Paladins are speaking about the events that just happened. I get massive 80s Voltron vibes from this. In the original, Team Voltron would often give speeches. They talked with the Galaxy Garrison. The Galra destroyed cities, yet Earth still fought back. The Galaxy Garrison had their own forces. In Defender of the Universe, the Galaxy Garrison was home of the Planetary Alliance.
Home of the Planetary Alliance, the bastion of justice, known throughout the universe as Galaxy Garrison.
Aliens from all over the universe would go to Earth.
They're coming from all over the galaxy. Azurites, Omarians, Crimzoids. There's never been anything like it.
It looks like aliens from all over came to Earth in Legendary Defender 2. The third option is this is some kind of memorial/funeral. There are 6 pictures of people on stage. It's super blurry, so it's hard to tell, but the big one reminds me of Shiro's picture. In the trailer, Hunk says everyone thinks they're dead. Aksha's voice is edited into the trailer before that, but that was because of editing. We don't know if she actually said that before he said his line in the episode. What if people don't think they're dead because of their fight with Lotor, but because of something that happened during their fight on Earth? Possibly relating to the sleeping episode. This could be a tribute to them. The thing going against this is the lions are there. Other reasons for those portraits could just be better pictures of the Paladins for the audience, or these 6 aren't the Paladins. They're people who sacrificed themselves in the Earth battle. This is paying tribute to them. God, I'm going to be so sad if it's any of these guys, especially Adam. I'd even be sad if it's James. Lastly, I'll just give you a bit more information about recent Voltron news. Adam is mixed race. Coran's voice actor said this about Coran. I mean, that does explain a lot of the Alpha Coran stuff. Hunk and Lance both have big families, and we will be getting to see them. Can't wait for the Altans' reactions to Earth. Allura and Coran's reactions will differ from Romelle's. Onurva did really love Lotor despite what she said.
Shrouded any glimmer of maternal instinct I may have had for my one and only child.
You could tell she did before the confirmation because of the way she reacted to her Lotor vision in Season 5, and the way she reacted to finding out that Zarkon was going to kill him. She loves Lotor more than she says, and that will affect her future actions. She won't be happy with what happened to him. As Lotor said, Onurva's work can never be undone.
No one comprehended that the experiments of my mother Onurva could never be undone.
She's brought Zarkon back before. She has a connection to the creatures from the Rift. What if she's the one to bring Lotor back? Lotor really did have good intentions behind what he was doing. He did truly want to achieve peace in the universe. Just the way he tried to do so was not good. Really not good. His morals were skewed. I don't think we're done with Lotor yet. They'll play around with these things about him in the future. I definitely believe he will come back sooner or later. We didn't actually see him die in the Rift. And even if he did die, there are so many ways to bring people back to life on Voltron. There will be more Allura and Lance interactions, which does make sense. Lance's Ready to Read book will be coming out after Season 7. These Ready to Read books include a fair amount of backstory from each character, along with how far their stories on the show have gone at the time of the book's releases. The description for Lance's book says the book will be telling us how Lance really feels about Allura. I mean, he's kind of already said on the show, but there hasn't been a confrontation scene between the two yet. In my opinion, I think they need to do a confrontation scene before the book comes out. Unless they plan to drag this plotline out until the very last season, they need to do the confrontation about his feelings in Season 7. The end result of Allura and Lance's confrontation could go one of two ways. The first way is Allura reciprocates Lance's feelings. The thing is, Allura has never shown any romantic interest in Lance throughout the whole series. However, there are certain tropes that could be at play here. Obviously, the love triangle's already happened. But there's a trope for characters falling for other characters with traits like one of their parents. I don't mean one character raised another character and then they fell for them. That isn't what the trope is. Please don't get that confused. What this trope is one character finds comfort in what they're familiar with. In Beast King GoLion, Lothar fell for Allura because she reminded him of his mother. Him going after Allura because she reminds him of Unnerva is certainly more subtle in Legendary Defender, yet they still included it. Lothar and Allura had direct parallels to Zarkon and Unnerva. Altan alchemist, Cholera Emperor. Lothar found comfort in Allura. Altan culture was a big focus of his. Allura was his strongest connection to Altan culture, aside from his blood from his mother's side. Allura has the alchemy powers of Unnerva. Lothar's mother's work got continued thanks to Allura. Allura also loves Altan culture and finds comfort in it. And Lothar was helping her discover things about Altan culture she never knew. Stuff that her father, Alfor, would have known about. Lothar uncovered the secrets Alfor knew to Allura. Lance has traits of King Alfor, Allura's father, and Allura's the one to keep bringing it up. Yet they didn't use his parallels with Alfor for a fight with Shiro, at least not so far. They gave that to Keith, who also parallels Alfor. However, in some cases, rather than a character falling for another character with similar traits to a parent, they could just be super close friends, not romantically involved. Then there's the trope of the guy being persistent enough that the girl falls for him. And then there's the trope of the girl realizing the guy she's been rejecting has actually been the right person for her all along. Usually this trope happens after a girl ends up dating another guy and realizes he's bad for her, and the guy she's been looking for has been there all along. Personally, I myself am not too much of a fan of these tropes. They're just not usually to my own liking, with some exceptions. However, all of these tropes are very common with straight couples in media. I wouldn't be surprised if they use those tropes on Allura and Lance. They've both been through heartbreak and they both find comfort in each other. They help each other reach their full potential. On the other hand, their confrontation could lead to Allura letting Lance down easily, / Lance letting go of her. Like I said before, Allura hasn't shown any romantic interest in Lance thus far. Is it too late to have her reciprocate now? And the way she reacted to finding out that Lance has real serious feelings for her seemed more sad than anything else. Like she knew her feelings for him weren't the same as his feelings for her. Like she knew she didn't want to hurt his feelings, but she didn't reciprocate them. And after she found out his feelings for her, she still kissed Lothar. Perhaps Allura letting Lance down / Lance letting go of her was foreshadowed through the line switch.
I wanted to stay with you, but sometimes what we want isn't necessarily what we get.
She does love Lance, but what kind of love is it? Several interviews and quotes from the cast and crew can be used both in favor of Allura x Lance and against Allura x Lance, depending on the way you interpret them. I won't go over all the interviews and quotes since this video is already getting pretty long. Anyway, whatever way they end up going, a confrontation will lead to a better relationship between them, platonic or romantic. Moving on, we're going to be learning the Altan alphabet. Hopefully that means we can decipher some of this Altan text. We'll be getting more flashbacks to the Paladins of old, and more flashbacks in general. I am super excited for those. Flashbacks always help with the future of the story. We get better understanding of characters and foreshadowing for what's to come. Having flashbacks to the Paladins of old would include flashbacks to Coran in those days. Pidge's mother won't be happy that Pidge ran away. Thinking about it, did Katie ever tell her mother she was going to join the garrison under the name Pidge, or what? And then she ended up in space for like a year. Poor Colleen, her entire family except the dog disappeared. There will be a game show episode. It's called The Feud and will be a parody of the show Family Feud. It'll probably be similar in style to Monsters and Mana, the Voltron show, and Space Mall. Light-hearted fun to contrast the angst of the season. Since this episode is based off of Family Feud, there should be another team. Possibly Shiro, Krylia, Romelle, Coran, and Matt, or one of the animals. And the questions they get asked should relate to stuff that's happened in the series. This episode is a good opportunity for team bonding. And finally, this season is going to be 13 episodes long. We haven't had a 13 episode long season since season 2, and very sadly, this is going to be the second to last season of the show. After season 7 gets released, there will only be 13 episodes left of the show, and those 13 episodes make up season 8. The 13 episodes of season 7 come out August 10th on Netflix Netflix. I'm seriously going to be sad when the show ends. I'll definitely be crying like a baby while watching season 8. Although, I'm glad it looks like the next season will have some good intense moments. Plus, there is still potential for a Legendary Defenders spin-off series or a movie. There's been talk of a Voltron live-action movie for years, around a decade. But Lauren and Joaquin do like the idea of a Legendary Defenders spin-off, and Jeremy Shader recently said he's still recording lines for Lance.
Still recording on Voltron for DreamWorks Netflix.
Unless it's for ADR. He shouldn't still be recording lines for Lance if season 8 is the last of Legendary Defender. And at the beginning of the year, the cast and crew had a big celebration party. We still don't know what that was about. Episodes take a long time to make, and voice recordings, aside from ADR, are one of the earlier steps of that process. They were recording season 5 in 2016. It seems like there will be extra VOD content after season 8. It might be a spin-off, movie, or just some small bits and pieces, like vlogs, motion comics, shorts, and books. But for now, thanks for watching, and
We're going home.